Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. Yesterday I released my NBA Cup Elimination Round preview. I was looking forward to that. I feel like that was a really good episode. But for this episode, we're going to dive into some teams I haven't talked about much. The Pistons, the Hawks from the East, the Kings, and the Suns from the West. So let's start with the Pistons. Last year at this time, they had like only a couple wins. They had Monty Williams there, who turned down the coaching job multiple times, and then took it because of getting a huge guaranteed payday. At that point, Monty Williams, he didn't want to be there. So you really get what you just put yourself in position for. You have to put yourself in position to win, and you're not going to get that for a guy that didn't want to be there. He does have passion to coach this team. I'm not saying J.B. Bickerstaff's a better coach than Monty Williams, but for this spot he is. Because Bickerstaff wanted to be there. You do have to offer Bickerstaff overpay Bickerstaff to be there. He's there because he wants to be there. He wants coach. He wants to help these younger guys mature and get better, and he's done that. And then they've signed and traded for vets like Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. Guys like that just help mature the team, and we've seen the mature level go up. They still aren't 500 yet, but they're getting there, and they're a lot closer this season than they were last year. I want to commend J.B. Bickerstaff on the job he's done in Detroit. He's done a great job of taking them to that next level. Each year that you're with a team, you want to coach them and get them to a level they weren't at before, and he's done a really good job with that. So I just want to say they're on the way up. Probably won't be a play-in team, but they may be close to it. And if teams like Philly keep struggling and they don't really turn you around, and even Milwaukee's not playing as a lot of people expected them to, then there's a chance they could be at that play-in, or at least have a chance at the play-in, and that's always good too. So I like what Detroit's doing. Let's jump to Atlanta in the East. Atlanta's won 5 straight. During these 5 straight, they've beat Cleveland twice, the number 1 team in the league, and they've beat Milwaukee. They beat, on the season, they've also beat New York, Boston. I mean, Atlanta's playing really, really good ball right now. Trae Young, what he did and what he's been doing a lot is getting drive and kick, and his guys are open and they're hitting shots. DeAndre Hunter has been playing outstanding off the bench. Bogdanovich has been playing great off the bench. Jalen Johnson is really molding into a second or third consistent option in Atlanta. I love the way Atlanta's playing right now. The offense is really, really good, and they have the ability to defend. We haven't seen them really turn into that defensive team yet, but they have the wings and the ability to turn into a good defensive team. If they put that together, don't be surprised if they're out of the play-in at the 5 or 6 seed. Let's jump to West. Let's talk about the Sacramento Kings. This is not what I expected with the Kings. We hear there's issues between Mike Brown and the Kings, where they're looking and they may move on from Mike Brown because they haven't extended him yet. Mike Brown did a really good job of turning this team around and kind of overachieving. But one thing that is surprising that the Kings have lacked since Mike Brown's been there is the defense, because in Cleveland, in LA, in San Antonio, he was the defensive coach. Sacramento's been top 5 offense during Mike Brown's time, but not top in defense. That's a little surprising. I mean, it could be a lot on personnel, but the Kings just haven't hit that top 5 or in the top defensively really anywhere. And it's tough to win at that point, especially in the Western Conference. It's not easy to outscore everyone you play, which has really been their strategy. But you also hear that, like the team could be built better. I've heard a lot about, like, you can put better shooters around the team. Like, they only really have a couple shooters. You got DeMar DeRozan. People are saying he's not the fit for that team, but I don't agree with that. I do think he could be the fit for that team. I think you just have to bring out his strength and not keep using his weakness. His weakness would be coming off the ball. His strength would be having the ball in his hands a little bit more, get into his spot, ISO in, doing a little bit more like that. But he's coming off the ball a lot for De'Aaron Fox. At that point, you could stagger their minutes. You could play DeMar DeRozan when Fox goes to the bench. You could play Fox when DeMar goes to the bench more at points and use them with different lineups, and it adds scoring and a different element to a different lineup instead of trying to play the same way each way and not staggering their minutes as much. I think you need to give both of them the ability to shine. But then you have Sabonis, and Sabonis needs his touches too. So what I'm seeing is you have 3 ball-dominant players, and no one's really taking the role to not be ball-dominant and to just come off the ball, to catch and shoot, to do the extra stuff. No one's taking that role. Everybody's wanting to be the guy, wanting to be the star. We saw De'Aaron Fox 60 points earlier this season. We need the ball moving a little bit more. We need more shooters on that team, and we need effort on defense, and I don't see any of that right now. So I just think the Kings are in a mess, and in my opinion, they're really underachieving because I thought the DeMar DeRozan signing was a big deal, and it still can be if he's used right. But I just don't feel he's being used right. And a lot of that may go to the coach and it may go to the personnel. Nobody really knows, but I just know they're really underachieving. Let's jump to the Phoenix Suns. They dropped a game last night to the Pelicans without Kevin Durant. Pelicans are starting to come back, get healthy, still searching and waiting for Zion's return. We don't know when that's going to happen. But anyway, let's get to the Suns. Every time KD plays and starts going off and getting hot, he gets injured. He's missed 2 weeks. Now he's going to miss at least a week with an ankle sprain after just coming back from an injury. So at that point, it's just stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. And unfortunately, Booker and Bill's not taking over and leading the team when KD's not there. So you're searching and you're waiting for KD to return, and it's just becoming a problem. And especially if he keeps getting injured, and maybe he's getting injured because maybe he's having to do too much. Maybe Bill and Booker need to take a little bit more pressure off of him, but you have other guys on the team. You have Nurkic on the team. He needs to do a little bit more. You have Plumlee coming off the bench, Tyus Jones, Grayson Allen. I mean, all these guys on the team, you have enough players where it should not just fall on those 3. But right now, it is falling on 3 guys. And they need help. And until they get help, it's going to be a struggle. And right now, it's going to be a struggle to win and stay close to the top. You don't want to be in the play-in in the West. You don't want to be where you were last season. Right now, it looks like they're going to be there again. You want to be towards the top. You don't want to worry about the play, and you want to always have a playoff seed locked in. And if KD keeps missing time, I'm afraid that's not going to happen. You have a lot of teams playing really good ball in the West. Memphis, Houston, Oklahoma. The Clippers are even moving up. They've been up and down. The Wolves have won a couple straight, so they may be on the come up now. I mean, it's like there's a lot of good teams. You don't want to fall too far behind. I'm afraid the Pelicans may have already done that by not having so many players and having to go to 2-way guys and losing game after game by big difference. I'm afraid the Pelicans always fell too far behind. You don't want that to happen if you're the Suns, and you don't want to rush KD back and put everything on his shoulders. You need more from the other guys around Kevin Durant. But if Kevin Durant was healthy and playing as he was consistently and playing more, Kevin Durant would be a top 2 or 3 MVP candidate because that's how impressive he's been this season. But as for MVP candidacy right now, speaking of teams fighting for their spot, that's going to Denver Nuggets Nikola Jokic because he is doing everything for that team. And when he's off the floor for only about 10 minutes a game, his team is reaching a historically low plus minus, and that's bad. And talk about a team that needs more all the way around. The Denver Nuggets need more all the way around. They're putting way too much on Jokic. You're going to wear him out before the playoffs, and you won't even get anything out of him if you make the playoffs. Because that's how bad it's getting. So you can't do that. You can't play the guy 40-some minutes a night for 80-some regular season games and then expect to have something left when you go in the playoffs. They've done him a disservice because after winning the championship a couple years ago, they let bench players start in lineup, guys walk. You let Brown go, you let Jeff Green go. You let KCP go. You let big pieces of helping and making them a championship team walk for nothing. You even get a trade piece from them. That's just bad. That's bad management. And it's like, if you want a championship team, pay for a championship team. If you don't pay for it, you don't get a championship team. That's just how it goes. You saw Boston winning the championship, keeping that same team because they won a championship. They want a championship team. They pay for a championship team. You see Cleveland, number one team in the league right now. Well, what did they do in the offseason? They kept the team they had and went with it. And now it's looking like it could be a championship contending team. You see the Knicks, you want a championship team, you pay for one. They go out, they flip Randall for Cat. You get Bridges. You're paying for a championship team because that's what you want. But then it's vice versa for the Nuggets. Do you not want to win? Do you not want a championship team? And you're doing a disservice to the best player currently in the league right now, Nikola Jokic. And it's sad to watch. It really is, because a guy like him should get more respect from his franchise. But that's the last time I went for that. But this was a fun episode. We talked about a lot of teams we haven't talked about much. And I'll see you Monday. Stay tuned.